Oi, go.
Because that's the one you're showing because you seem to get away from the context. To me, Abel's death was unceremonial. He literally sacrificed himself to save Polnareff and Iggy from a direct stand user's attack. Which, by the way, they're in Dio's compound. You know, the final boss stage, the place that's most dangerous and would obviously have the strongest stand users at the time. Oh yeah, not ceremonious. You know, this is actually an ethical complaint about Golden Wind. Since you look at the characters like Abakio and Naranja, characters whose deaths are actually kind of more unceremonious, especially with Naranja's being a bit more egregious in this case, since he died off screen. This complaint actually works for that. But a character who sacrifices himself in enemy territory to save his friends is what you consider to be unceremonial? Okay, lovely stuff.
If you don't like a series where beloved characters are unceremoniously killed, maybe JoJo's isn't for you.
Oh my god, I can taste the salt from here.
Joel is not a fucking beloved character.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to the extent the air is salt. And you breathe that in and you constantly taste the salt.
I think that the previous Zeppeli deaths were fine because they motivated the hero to fight on. But part 3 is where people just start dropping like flies, and it's a trend that continues throughout the series. A lot of the deaths in JoJo's are simply there for shock value, and that's not even counting how many fake out deaths.
Ironic, remember the guy who defended Joel's death in The Last of Us Part 2? Which, by the way, the definition of shock value is to elicit imagery in order to instill negative emotions. This is a criticism that you can say all deaths in media can be attributed to, since that's the point of characters dying in the story. Han Solo getting stabbed by his own son? Oh, we're supposed to hate his son now because of how he killed his own father! My point is that this isn't really a criticism that's all that unique. You might as well get mad at stories for lying about how things work when it comes to fictional works.
I have a very low tolerance level for stupid bullshit.
But a lot of the middle chunk of part 3 is just so goddamn boring. The fights aren't really as creative or exciting,
1, 2,
and
3,
the
4,
stands
5,
are
6.
super lame in part 3, which makes sense because they're immediately...
Okay, tomorrow morning we will invade the left.
The main heroes have some really lame-ass powers. Jotaro's stand can punch really fast. Polnareff's stand has a sword. Abdul's stand can shoot fire. And Calculin's stand can throw rocks. Ooh, how exciting. I want an action figure of that.
Hey, there's the misrepresentation and generalization again, as well as missing the point of why the main character's stands are the way they are. Let's start by talking about the misrepresentation. Yes, let's ignore that Star Platinum also has the ability of heightening Jotaro's senses. His reaction time can help him practically fly, catch bullets, and also has self-preservation actions. Let's ignore that Polnareff's Solar Chariot is just as fast as Jotaro's Star Platinum with his sword. Chariot's sword can even skewer fire and have the ability to get more long-range attack. Abdol's stand can do more than just shoot fire. With a thought, Abdol can redirect his flames in midair and give them any shape, control how intense their destructive powers, and even give them other supernatural properties. And Kakyoin, wow, that is surprisingly the most egregious case right here. Yeah, let's just ignore that he's got insane range on his stand, but can also become membranes to control their people by going in them. I get that the powers are not all that unique, but that's the point. If they had overpowered abilities, then there wouldn't be any tension. Oh yeah, if Jotaro had access to the ability to stop time, that would really make the series all the more enthralling. It's not what the powers are is important, it's how you use them. The fact that the Joestar Egyptian Tour is able to go toe-to-toe with much more powerful stands and use their limited abilities creatively is the point. Hell, take Deku from My Hero Academia. Initially, his power was just basically super strength and agility, but he still managed to find creative ways to use his powers in that show, especially with the limitations that his body initially had.
That is one big pile of shit. I was just never excited to see these heroes do anything, let alone win.
To war!
That is, until the last few bits of part 3. The last few fights are actually kind of cool. I'd say everything from the pet shop fight upward is actually pretty decent. And it just shows me that this arc didn't need to be that long.
What? No mention of Darby's card battle?
What are you doing?
Suck!
But I gotta say, the last battle in part 3 is pretty fucking good. It's probably the best fight in the entire series. It's so good that it almost tricked me into forgetting I did not enjoy the majority of the rest of the arc.
Destroy this thing.
Forget that slog.
Get it out of my sight.
Crusaders, I was really not that excited to read more JoJo's. I think at this point I
need to back up.
The burnout just a little bit.
You need to back up.
You say this.
And yeah, I probably wouldn't be as mad or exhausted
Destroy
with the series if I hadn't tried to binge it in 2 months.
Kill it.
But at that point, JoJo's just wasn't fun for me anymore. I was not having a good time.
Nope.
No. Duh. When you binge something, especially a manga that has so many chapters, leading up to this point, which is about 265 chapters of manga of a series that was made over the course of years and come out once a week. I know from personal experience that binging throughout a series like this is the worst way to go about it. It doesn't give you any actual time to reflect on the series or what happened in the actual manga. But the fact that Cosmon is misattributing characteristics to characters and generalizing them, this spells out people who can actually give the series a chance, especially when throughout the video he's allowing what he heard online to be his perception of the series. Case in point.
And I heard that part 4 was like kind of low stakes, more akin to a slice of life series. I thought the new
Can I get my coin back?
Lame, design-wise. I didn't think this new adventure could really hold my attention.
It's fun that
Victory!
But you shouldn't let it kill your entire experience, which is something that Cosmon did. At least from what I'm hearing.
Hell, even Jotaro is good in part 4. While his cool guy routine wore thin on me over the course of the last adventure, in this one he just shows up every once in a while to be a badass. I think he's best used sparingly in part 4's.
Gee, it's almost like he actually got development. Oh, and look, you're finally using actual manga screenshots to prove your point. Glad to see they finally showed up, but too bad you didn't have any actual evidence for your negative points before.
Being focused on a smaller scale means
we will invade. We will get the watchtower when I get a chance.
It's genuinely charming. And that's one of the biggest problems that JoJo has, in my opinion, trying to balance wackiness with consistency. Since everything in part 4 is already kind of mundane,
yeah, but don't leave the base.
Appropriately. It's an arc where you can have a fight just centered around rock, paper, scissors, and it's pretty exciting.
I mean, I disagree with that heavily, especially when you consider there are a lot of mundane stuff in previous parts, and the only difference being they took place in outside countries. I really don't understand why this is an issue.
One of the most iconic encounters features JoJo and Okuyatsu in a restaurant where they're just super cautious of the chef for no reason other than the fact that the story expects you to be cautious of him. And then in the end, he just turns out to be a chill guy.
I mean, that's not true. Throughout the entire encounter, weird shit was happening to Okuyasu. Like his eyes showing up, having him lose a couple of his teeth out of his mouth, and practically scratching off a ball of flesh. I'd say those are pretty big red flags.
And I really fucking hate part 5. And I feel like I'm in an alternate dimension because back in my day, everybody I knew hated part 5 because it's garbage. It's one of the messiest shonen storylines I've ever read. And some people say, oh probably just makes bad translations. Bitch, I went through it again to see if I was just imagining how bad it is. No, part 4 is still good with bad translations, so this is not an excuse.
No actual evidence backing that up. You expect me to take your word on this?
Fuck.
After I've seen you misrepresent the entire series?
Part 5 has everything that I hated.
We need to rebuild back up this side.
Amped up to 11. The characters are whack. Calm, cool guy. Calm, cool guy.
Fugo. Calm, cool guy. nasty little punk shit! Do you think you can mess with me? How many times do I have to keep teaching you this lesson? You just gonna get there! Sure. Whatever you say, Cosmo.
Calm, cool guy.
It's not currently in use, so I thought I'd bring it along. What a surprise. That's the distinct tang of a lion. Right, Giorno Giovanna?
Sure. Whatever you say, Cosmo.
Why are you guys going left?
Funny cowards.
I have no choice.
Sure. Whatever you say, Cosmo. Look, I get that you're annoyed and trying to sound mad to the point where your voice is about to crack. But how about you be the calm, cool guy? These are pictures in a book, and you're misrepresenting them and showing you didn't actually pay attention to the characters. I think you can calm down a little bit.
Giorno is a joke. He's the worst JoJo by far. Even people who like Part 5 agree with me.
Can I get a reference on that? Some actual evidence? No?
People need to cite their shit.
Okay. Well, in that case, as I've already stated in my
No reason.
video,
That's why this
I don't
video
like
is taking this
Giorno.
person down.
I think he's one of the worst JoJos, and while I do agree, I find that Cosmo's arguments here are lukewarm at best.
He could just as well be some random dude and nothing would change. I can't even name a single character trait for Giorno. He's the only JoJo that I can say that about. What the hell is this?
Now, this is coming from someone who hates Giorno as well, but this is such a lazy argument to make. Oh, I can't list a single thing for shut up! Especially when it comes to characteristics about a character. And I'm going to be sick for saying this, but I'm going to tell you why you are wrong on this. Giorno is loyal. To the people he swears true allegiance to, he will go above and beyond to do everything for them, as demonstrated when he tries to keep Bucciarati alive. He is the common man. Half of Giorno's motivations can be summed up in, I had good done to me when I had nothing, I'm going to do the same for those who have nothing. Whenever he has paid his response and reactions in certain antagonists. He is ruthless in the most unsettling of ways. Giorno does not forgive. Giorno does not forget. See Paul with a banana. Giorno at the end of Vento Aureo is fundamentally the same person as Giorno at the beginning of it. And this is because Giorno is not on a journey of growth or self-discovery. Giorno is a man on a mission. The mission
Shit.
to rule the mob.
Oh my God, no.
While Giorno's cast grows and changes, Giorno is
No,
his character.
it's another. The right barely survived the first one.
Because he was never meant to change or
shit.
the rest of the cast.
I'm gonna need
He's just out for the top
all the
spot.
archers that
And
go
that
to
is
the
something
fucking
I
right.
can go into, because most of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures
Jesus
and
Christ,
characters
hurry
are
up.
about the growth. Most
Left
of
side is straight, but the right side is fucked. Oh wait, no. Actually, no, nobody's coming.
Joseph's was
We
to
destroyed the
save
fucking portal.
Jotaro's was to save his mother. Josuke didn't really have a mission until the midpoint of the series.
Ah.
Giorno, I already stated. This is totally for a difference of preference, I get that, but not every story needs to have the characters grow. Hell, Cosmonaut even admitted in this video with his relatively dumb example of Paddington Bear. Obviously, you can dislike this form of storytelling, and I'd agree with you at some points. But this feels like a major factor that Cosmo isn't taking into account with this video.
And I should point out that Araki's writing in Part 5 is absolute garbage.
Oh shit, I made one of the main characters too strong. Oh well, he's out of the story. He flew back to his home planet.
Oh, there's that misinformation again. No, it wasn't because Fugo was too powerful. Hell, most of the enemies that Team Bucciarati face have a means of countering Fugo's stand. Pesci's Beach Boy is a fishing rod that can attack from long range and go through solid objects. Ilusho's Man in the Mirror, well, no need to explain that since it was perfectly able to counter Purple Haze's poison easily. Prosciutto's The Grateful Dead has essentially the same properties as Purple Haze, and that it ages people up from long distances. White Alpha can close off the airways and make it so the poison can't get to the user whose name I can't pronounce. I'm not going to try, because holy hell, I don't need another Kakyoan example.
Look, dude, you've been messing up names all damn day. Why stop now?
Melane's stand, Babyface, is a long-range stand that works on its own, and any damage it takes doesn't affect Melanie. Green Day attacks a mold that can cover an entire town with it. The only reason why I think you're making this complaint is because you looked online and found the first Google or Reddit post that brings up Fugo being overpowered. Araki has been completely upfront that he was depressed at the time and didn't want to have to kill off Fugo for betraying the group. because that's what the plan was. It's in the Volume 10 postscriptum that Rocky lists for his reason for this, in case you want to look it up yourself.
But that's an easy one, right? You know, everybody talks about that. Fugo gets kicked out of the story, and it's really stupid, but you're not supposed to talk about that because that's too easy.
Too easy. Like I'm the guy who doesn't understand why Fugo was written out.
Well, how come the main villain is revealed so late into the story? Because at this point, you don't have enough time to become invested in him, and that sucks, because he has the most potential out of any character in this arc.
What do you mean by that? The boss was hinted at throughout the entire series of Part 5. He was the big boss, the man who was orchestrating the entire Passion, the Mafia. The reason why he's hidden for most of the story is because he's trying to hide his identity, and for good reason. You can't kill the boss if you don't know who he is. It's an underground crime network, hidden in the shadows. That's the point. If I could make a similar comparison to a video game, Bayonetta had a similar thing going on with Jubileus. With either the bosses bringing up Jubileus when you defeated them. It's called the man behind the curtain. You can dislike the trope, but it's there for a reason.
Mad Money Lightning Round is brought to you by
Raid Shadow Legends. JoJo's is still an action shonen series, so I think it's really important to try to flesh out the villain. You know why Dio is the best villain in JoJo's? Because you get the most time devoted to fleshing him out.
I mean, not really in Part 3. He was really fleshed out in Part 1. But in Part 3, Dio was kept in the shadows. The only difference was that we knew exactly who the bad guy was.
Also, why does Araki keep doing fake-out deaths? When did we start thinking this is acceptable? How many times does Mista die in Part 5?
I don't know. I do know Mista has been injured 38 times. And funny enough, 35 of those times were caused by his own gunfire. No, legit. That's actually pretty funny.
Turn into a turtle!
Oh, there's that big anger again. I thought there was nothing to these characters. Oh, should it be your point stuff I know what you're learn about them? Also, Ulrich was turned into a turtle because his evolved stand soul swapping people.
This is where the wackiness of JoJo's stops being cute for me. It is no longer a feature. It is now a bug.
I don't even know how to respond to that, since he only provides one example of the quirkiness of JoJo and doesn't even bother to...
So now we have about 50 fucking people in our joint without jobs.
But
Great.
holy shit, Araki's art takes a nosedive here. The original manga is nearly impossible to decipher in most fights. I get that JoJo's has some high concept shit, but I seriously cannot tell what the fuck I'm supposed to be looking at half the time.
I mean, going off your example right on the screen, it's kind of easy for me to see. Sticky Fingers is launching an attack on Trish, who is currently in Mista's body. The Emperor Crimson pulls her away at the last second and is ripping out Spice Girl. Now, I know this because I've actually read the Part 5 manga, and I have the context for this. The thing is, you can take the context of any scene from any manga, rip it out of the sole thing, and put it up here and make this complaint.
Wait,
You take out the context.
what the fuck happened to the left side?
You're going to make this complaint about anything. I think it's an unfair argument.
And everyone says that Part 5 is cool because of the fights. The fights! But Marcus, the fights are so cool! Why do I care about the fights if I don't care about the story or the characters that are in the fights?
Boy, your acting sure sucks. Like, seriously, dude, that sounds so cheap that you're just trying to find every single little reason to hate Part 5. And I get it, Part 5. I don't like it either. But here's the thing.